Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Master Sergeant Jesse Futch, and I am your narrator for today's event. On behalf of the men and women of the 62nd Maintenance Squadron, welcome to today's change of command ceremony, where we pay special tribute to Lieutenant Colonel Cameron Khalidi as he culminates 3 successful years in command, and welcome Major Kip Williams as he assumes the mantle of this distinguished and storied unit. This will be considered an indoor ceremony. During the national anthem, military members will render the appropriate customs and courtesies, and all family members and civilian friends should stand and place their right hands over their heart. Please silence any electronic devices at this time. The change of command ceremony has a rich military history dating back to the reign of Frederick the Great of Prussia during the 18th century. At that time, organizational flags were developed with color arrangements and symbols unique to each unit. To this flag and its commanders, the soldiers of the unit would dedicate their loyalty and trust. When a chance of command was to take place, the flag was passed to the individual assuming command in front of the unit so all could witness the new leader assuming the official position. The colors are the commander's symbol of authority, representing their responsibilities to the organization and reside wherever the commander resides. Today, Master Sergeant Sean Willis serves as the custodian of the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party, the presentation of the colors, and the singing of the national anthem by Staff Sergeant Ricky Hendricks.
Maintenance Squadron. Present the colors.
Whoa, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Honor Guard and Staff Sergeant Hendricks. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce the official party for today's ceremony. Commander, 62nd Maintenance Group, and presiding officer for today's ceremony, Colonel Aaron Sasson. Outgoing commander of the 62nd Maintenance Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Cameron Khalidi, accompanied by his wife, Dr. Huma Mirza, and many family and friends attending online and in person. Incoming commander of the 62nd Maintenance Squadron, Major Kip Williams, accompanied by his wife, Ruka, his son, Max, and many family and friends attending online and in person. We would also like to extend a warm welcome to Major Williams' special guests, his parents Judd and Debbie, brother Aaron, sister Lydia, sister-in-law Sherry, nephew Isaac, niece Ada, and best friend Travis. We would also like to extend a warm welcome to the following distinguished guests attending today's ceremony. Please hold all applause until all guests have been introduced. Commander, 62nd Airlift Wing, Colonel David Fazenbaker, accompanied by his wife Amber. Vice Commander, 62nd Airlift Wing, Colonel Brian Collins, accompanied by his wife Melissa. Command Chief, 62nd Airlift Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Joe Arce, accompanied by his wife Major Jennifer Arce. Commander, 627th Air Base Group, Colonel Patrick O'Sullivan. Superintendent, 627th Air Base Group, Chief Master Sergeant Chris Clark. Commander, 62nd Medical Squadron, Colonel Robert McCoy. And Honorary Commander, 62nd Maintenance Squadron, Sean Smith, accompanied by his wife Natalie. We would also like to extend a welcome to all commanders, chiefs, superintendents, first sergeants, and members of the 62nd Maintenance Squadron. On behalf of the 62nd Maintenance Squadron, thank you for all joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, Commander, 62nd Maintenance Group, Colonel Aaron Sasson.
Hey, good morning, or good afternoon, Team Accord. And before I start, Major McNamara, you're supposed to be at attention, man. Learn how to follow a script. No, dude, I'm just kidding. I was just going to put you at ease, dude. You're good. This is what happens when you write a script, and then you got to think fast on your feet. And I'm not very good on my feet, so I apologize in advance. But thank you all for joining us. This is fantastic. You know, the reason I'm off my game is because Kip's brother has the coolest socks on earth. And we're the only ones that have a view of this. So thanks for lightening the mood up here. But we're so excited that you all joined us today to celebrate this glorious day in the Pacific Northwest as we do commemorate this incredible milestone on behalf of the 62nd Maintenance Squadron and in the lives of the Khalidi and Williams families. Colonel and Mrs. Collins, Colonel O'Sullivan, Colonel McCoy, Chief Arce, Mr. Smith, and then, of course, the myriad of other commanders in the audience. Thank you all for being here and making today a priority. Cam, are we on Facebook Live with your parents, too? Cool. Well, let me definitely take the time to welcome Huma, who, if you have never had the opportunity to meet Cam's wife, you've missed out on one of the finer pleasures in life. And unfortunately, you're going to have to go stand out behind their car as they make a run for it. But what an incredible human being. Just it has been such a pleasure knowing you, and I hope we get to stay in touch because you inspire me and my children every day. So thank you for that. Cam's parents joining us remotely, Saif and Sarwath. This is 3 years in command is a long time, right? Command is taxing, and to do this for 3 years, you can't do that alone, and it takes an incredible amount of support. And so for the three that I just mentioned, ups and downs, but this is family business, and I know Cam could not have been this successful without your support, so thank you all very much. And one of the coolest things that I learned last week was that Cam's name, Kamran, is actually Persian for the word successful. So Saif and Sarwith, you had a vision for him many, many years ago, and I stand before you today to let you know that that vision has come true. So congratulations on setting such an amazing path for this man to follow. I also extend a special welcome to the Williams family, Haruka, Max, parents Judd and Debbie, brother A.A. Ron, got you, with Sherry and Isaac along for the ride, his sister Lydia and daughter Ada, and then, of course, Travis hanging out there in the back. What a joy getting to meet all of you. I know it's exciting for Kip to be back home and to be able to share this day with you, so thanks for coming and taking part. This is exactly what it looks like when a hometown kid comes back home after so many years, and so we're excited to be able to share our customs and traditions with you. But most particularly, we're excited that Kip is back with us, because for those of you who don't know, he spent the last year commanding a squadron in Kuwait. And for Haruka and Max, we know what a burden that is on your family. It is, you didn't marry him to become a single mom, right? And yet you had the opportunity to do that for the last 365 days. And so actually it ended up being more like 400 days, didn't it? And so your sacrifice is important, and it is recognized, because you being willing to do that allows him to be able to serve so many other men and women who need his leadership. And so on behalf of the Air Force, thank you for what you have done. But more importantly, what you will continue to do, because being married to a squadron commander, there will be times when you will feel like he's deployed. But it's an important chapter for Kip and for this squadron. In June of 2018, Cam Khalidi took the reins of Bigfoot Maintenance. 3 years. Arguably the most challenging 3-year period any commander could have ever led through. And yet the amazing men and women of the mighty MXS just kept hitting home run after home run after home run. When Cam took the flag, there were certainly some things he knew he would face. He surely expected normal commander business, like managing a budget, investing in infrastructure, and celebrating his airmen when they achieved major milestones in their lives. And he knew it would be a challenge to lead over 400 airmen from 7 different flights and 14 different career fields. And that was just what I could count off the top of my head. There might actually be more than 14. And maybe he even understood the challenge he would face having to learn to speak Army to rally support for maintaining his 68 different facilities. But let's be honest. If 3 years ago someone told you that he'd have to lead his team through a 4-month runway closure, requiring him to lead airmen and plan for a mission at 4 different operating locations across the United States, you probably would not have taken that bet. You probably also wouldn't have anticipated his team supporting the largest movement of nuclear weapons in U.S. history. Nor would you have guessed he'd lead his team through a nuclear surety inspection, arguably the toughest inspection any Air Force unit will ever undergo, with 0 findings, not 1. And the odds are fairly low that you'd have predicted that this team would be out here on New Year's Eve of 2020 with no notice, helping launch 8 aircraft in response to Iranian aggression in the Middle East. But somehow, if you were an incredibly gifted crystal ball type of person and you accurately predicted all those things, you'd have only been halfway through the journey. There's no way you would have bet on a global pandemic sweeping across the world, requiring him to delicately balance accomplishing the mission with the health and safety of over 400 people. And you couldn't have conceivably foreseen him having to lead crucial conversations about racial inequality, as well as having to deal with his own emotions after watching an attack on our nation's capital. The Air Force takes a lot of time and effort to prepare leaders for command. And in many instances, we even publish tactics, techniques, and procedures about how to lead in different environments. But there flat out is no book that begins to scratch the surface of the things that you faced over the last 3 years, Cam. And despite it all, your team rose to the occasion. In maintenance flight, you redesigned the way you flow aircraft through the inspection process, contributing to a 4-year high aircraft availability rate. In fact, we had a team from Air Mobility Command come in here to teach us about the theory of constraints. And you know how that visit went? Instead of teaching us, they took out their notebooks and they started writing down the stuff that they were learning from us. In fabrication flight, you partnered with the Army to repair howitzers and certify welders, and partnered with the 446 Maintenance Squadron to earn a spot as an Air Force Spark Tank Innovation Award finalist. And today, your squadron remains the catalyst for the momentum of the Wings Innovation Lab. In munitions flight, you have repeatedly been the voice of yes, always facilitating support to the Army, Marines, and Special Operations Forces here to conduct high-end warfare with our Joint Base Army partners. In the Precision Measurement Equipment Lab, you've overcome more challenges with inadequate infrastructure than any PMEL I've ever seen, and yet you continue to provide premier support to 166 regional customers with DoD-wide impact. In Accessories Flight, you performed more fuel systems maintenance than any other C-17 unit and made tremendous strides in innovating things like battery overhauls, hydraulic servicing carts, and floor and air compressor upgrades. In Avionics Flight, you overcame a deficient supply system and Frankensteined boxes together to keep our fleet flying and provided frequent just-in-time maintenance when there were no assets in the supply system. And finally, in the 7th Flight, shows you the diversity of this team, right? In the Aerospace Ground Equipment Flight, you implemented GPS tracking processes, not once, but twice, to improve the efficiency and tracking of your equipment, enabling a 7-year high in commission rate. And the list of things I'm summarizing goes on and on and on. Whether it be deploying to all ends of the earth, supporting the National Science Foundation's mission in Antarctica, or launching missions for exercises like Rainier War, or for the Weapons School, or for Mobility Guardian, or volunteering in the community to be great ambassadors for the Air Force. Bigfoot maintenance has risen to every occasion and has never, not once, come up short. Cam, this team never flinched, never faltered, and never failed with you at the helm. And as their leader, you should reflect with extreme satisfaction on all that you have accomplished together. It's been a long 3 years, but I know that you should be very proud and know that you made a difference. If you could all just take a moment and please help me in congratulating Lieutenant Colonel Khalidi. But this team is so talented that it is never reliant on one person. And as we say goodbye to one leader, there is no doubt that this team will continue to thrive under their new leader, Major Kip Williams. Kip is a tremendous leader who has the right personality to lead this squadron going forward. He joins us again after a year deployed to Kuwait as the Expeditionary Aircraft Maintenance Squadron Commander, and he has experiences that uniquely prepare him for this opportunity. He has spent the majority of his career in mobility aircraft, having started his career at Charleston on C-17s, working for, bless you, ma'am. Did I ruin the second one? All right. Working at Charleston under Major Sasson. So we go back to Kip's Gold Bar. We go back a long, long way. And then has subsequently built up a wealth of experience in the Pacific, having run maintenance operations in Guam and Yokota and completing intermediate developmental education in Singapore. He speaks fluent Japanese and is the perfect balance of a tactical expert and regional strategist. He has won the Pacific Air Force's Leo Marquez Award, and his record boasts everything that you could ever want in a commander. But none of that is what matters. The awards, the stratifications, the deployments, and the experience. None of that is what's going to make Kip Williams successful. Once you get to know him, you'll realize that what will make him successful is the simple fact that he is just a genuinely nice human, an engaged leader who brings a phenomenal energy to this squadron, and he will be committed to getting to know people, developing relationships, remaining eternally positive, and leading you, the men and women of Maintenance Squadron, as he cheers you on and becomes your biggest fan. Kip, in a few minutes, I will hand you the guidon of this distinguished squadron, and I do so with absolutely zero hesitation or reservation that you will take it to new heights, but most importantly, that you will care for its airmen with every ounce of your being. It's going to be the adventure of a lifetime, but I know you, Haruka, and Max are up for it in every way. Congratulations, and welcome to the team.
Thank you, Colonel Sasson. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as Colonel Sasson presents the Meritorious Service Medal to Lieutenant Colonel Khalidi. Attention to orders. Citation to accompany the award of Meritorious Service Medal, 2nd Oak Leaf Cluster, to Lieutenant Colonel Cameron Khalidi from 23 June 2018 to 6 July 2021. Lieutenant Colonel Cameron M. Khalidi distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Commander, 62nd Maintenance Squadron, Joint Base Lewis McChord, Washington. During this period, Colonel Khalidi led 406 active duty, civilian, and Air Reserve technicians through arduous challenges. Facing a 4-month runway closure, he flawlessly executed the deployment of 43 aircraft and 475 team members to 4 operating locations, enabling the successful completion of 22 C-17 home station checks and producing a 21-month high 88% mission-capable rate. Additionally, Colonel Khalidi championed countless innovation initiatives. His ceaseless commitment resulted in the establishment of an additive manufacturing lab and global positioning system locators on the wing's aerospace ground equipment fleet, saving 1,500 man-hours per year. Finally, Colonel Khalidi aggressively tackled numerous facility initiatives to ensure uninterrupted sustainment of the wing's C-17 fleet. Relentlessly working to produce data-driven decisions, he successfully rallied support for a $750,000 investment to restore the wing's corrosion control facility and $238,000 to invest in a new precision measurement equipment laboratory environmental control system, guaranteeing operational readiness for years to come. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Colonel Khalidi reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The Commander, 62nd Maintenance Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Cameron Khalidi.
All right. Good. Brad, go ahead and put the formation at ease, please. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Colonel Collins, Chief Arcee, Major Williams and his family, fellow commanders, chiefs, First Sergeant, our honorary commander, Mr. Sean Smith, and all of the distinguished visitors here today. Thank you for being here. Both Huma and I are truly grateful for your support over the years. First off, a ceremony like this doesn't come together overnight. I want to thank Lieutenant Fogel, Sergeant Hendricks for that wonderful rendition of our national anthem. It's a man of many talents, but golf is not one of them. Thank you all for making this a memorable event for us. There's no such thing as a self-made man. I'm a firm believer of this. Whatever success I've had, I owe a significant debt of gratitude to those that came before me, that showed me the ropes, and I cannot thank them enough. To my parents, they have been the foundation of any success that I can claim. Thank you for everything that you do, from the things that I know about to all the things that I don't know. To my father-in-law and my mother-in-law and all of my family and friends watching online, thank you for everything you have done for me. I'm forever grateful for your love and support. To my beautiful wife, Huma, to whom I owe a great deal. I could not have done this without you. I know you shrug every time you say that, but it is 100% true. I could not have done this without you. Thank you so much. She's here after working a 24-hour shift, and I don't know how you do it, but I'm glad there are people like you doing the things that you do. I think it took a pandemic to realize that there's more than one way to serve your country. So I never, people always thank me for my service, so I want to say thank you for your service, because it really is amazing what you do. So for her and for all the medical professionals, if we can just give them a round of applause. This is a small token of appreciation for all that you have done over these past 3 years. I can't wait for our next adventure together. Wow, 3 years have gone by super fast. But if I'm being honest, sometimes slow. A lot has happened. You heard some of it already from the deck presentation. Everything gets kind of cleaned up nicely in a one-page document, but for all of the accolades, all the items that we have that Colonel Sasson mentioned here, it took hundreds of airmen to do that. It does not happen by accident. It does not happen by one person alone. So I am forever grateful for the team that I had around me that made all of that possible. If I've done anything right, I would say it is to recognize the talented people around me and to get out of their way or to clear their way so that they can do their thing. And for me to be able to do that, I have had to have the leadership that I trust and who trusted in me. So first I have to thank Colonel Babcock, who hired me, and he took a chance on me, and I really, really appreciate that, and giving me that freedom. There's a saying in the Air Force, if you don't like your boss, then just wait a little while, they'll change. It works both ways, though. Rarely in my career have I had two bosses in a row that have worked out. Rare still, so I braced for impact when I knew Colonel Sasson was coming. And I can honestly say for literally the first time in my career that I've had two truly amazing leaders back to back. Colonel Sasson, sir, thank you for your leadership and mentorship, both on a personal level as well as professional. I've learned a ton from you. You challenged me, you pushed me to be better, and allowed me the freedom to disagree, even when I came close to the line. Hell, sometimes I crossed the line probably, but you always tolerated me, and I appreciate that. Rare still, he is someone who, when presented with new evidence or a novel argument, can change his mind. And that takes true confidence and character. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate you. Now, I've never been that good at math, but if I've never had two great bosses, what are the chances that I'll have three? Needless to say, I'm braced for the worst again, but at least we'll be in Hawaii. Hey, I know somebody's got to do it. Why not me? So, 3 years. It has flown by. So much has happened. This has been the hardest but most rewarding job I've ever had. Early on, I don't remember when, but Mr. Zubrod, Matt Zubrod there, my civilian superintendent said something to me. He said some version of, wow, sir, you're quite a risk taker. Let me assure you, it is no exaggeration to say that no one has ever said that to me ever, like ever. So don't tell me leadership doesn't matter. It absolutely does. Speaking of civilians, I've had some outstanding civilian ones. Mr. Zubrod, who leads with his heart, will run through a wall if that's what's required. Thank you for all you do, Zub. Keep fighting the good fight. LaDonna, where would the squadron be without you? There's a sign on her desk that says, fixer of everything. And that is 100% true. If you need to get something done, she'll figure it out. She knows everybody. She knows how to make things happen. So she is the heart of the squadron, doesn't want any recognition, and does it for our airmen. So thank you so much for everything that you do. There are so many people to thank, and we'd be here all day if I mentioned them all, but I do have to mention a couple more. Chief Lipsy, who just retired, was my squadron chief when I first took command. He's a rare talent, so talented. If you hadn't heard, Jeff Bezos stepped down yesterday, and it turns out Chief Lipsy turned down that job. He ghosted Amazon. It's crazy. It's true. Ask him about it. Chief Earl, Andy Earl, who's making miracles happen in Mountain Home. Chief Yarbrough, who left us to be the AMXS chief. He's going to do amazing stuff with Zach and his team there. I appreciated everything you did for me and the squadron chief. And First Sergeant Willis. We really did make a hell of a team. Tackling all sorts of challenges, the stuff that Colonel Sasson mentioned, honestly, challenges we never dreamed we'd face. Global pandemic, domestic terrorists attacking the Capitol, and having the cliche difficult conversations about race and diversity and inclusion in our Air Force. While these were extremely difficult in their own right, nothing prepares you fully when you get the call that you lost an airman. Airman Ivan Sandoval, we lost him late last year. He was taken far too soon from us, and no words can do justice to the loss that his family and friends in flight feel, but I hope they have found some measure of peace. Through it all, Chief, Shirt, and I debated and discussed behind closed doors and then marched in unison once I made a call. We didn't get everything right, but I'm proud of the way we went about it. As I prepare to hand over the reins, I feel confident. While we didn't accomplish everything I would have liked, I left it all on the field. I leave confident in the senior NCOs, the officers, and the airmen to carry on the mission without missing a beat. I feel lucky to be handing the squadron to an extremely talented officer in Major Kip Williams. Best advice I got from Colonel Babcock was do the things that only you can do and leave loudly. It has served me well, and I hope it will for you too. Kip, I wish you and Ruka nothing but the best, and I know you'll lead the squadron to even greater achievements. Finally, to the men and women of the 62nd Maintenance Squadron, extremely humbled and proud to have been a part of your team. Thank you for all the work and everything you have done to make the mission happen without fail. Be humble, be curious, and always be looking to make it a little better, even for just for the people that come after you. I look forward to seeing you down the road. Thank you all for coming today.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Khalidi. The 62nd Maintenance Squadron will now render a final salute to Lieutenant Colonel Khalidi.
Squadron, stand cut. Present arms. Order, arms.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the change of command. Attention to orders. By order of the Secretary of the Air Force and under the provisions of Air Force Instruction 51-604, Lieutenant Colonel Khalidi relinquishes command and Major Williams is appointed commander of the 62nd Maintenance Squadron, McCord Field, Joint Base Lewis McChord, Washington. Special Order Number G-2021-09, effective 6 July 2021.
Sir, I assume command.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce the Commander, 62nd Maintenance Squadron, Major Kip Williams.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Brad, could you please have these maintenance squadron at ease? All right. Colonel Collins, representing the wing, and Chief RC group commanders, fellow squadron commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, the 62nd Airlift Wing, and team, friends, family, and men and women of the 62nd Maintenance Squadron. Thank you for being here today. First, I would like to say thanks to everyone involved in the ceremony, especially to Lieutenant Emily Fogel, all the way back there. Please wave. She has led the charge and has done an amazing job to make this a special day and a special ceremony. Sergeant Hendricks, I heard you're a good maintainer too, so awesome. And respectfully well done. To the Honor Guard and the Public Affairs Protocol communication teams, thank you again for this event. Colonel Collins, thanks, sir, for the opportunity to command such a dynamic squadron. I'm extremely excited for the challenge and ready to get going and leading with my fellow squadron mates. Colonel Stassen, I cannot express my gratitude enough of coordinating with our headquarters functionals to move my family in the area while I was deployed for a 365 command and allow me to stay afterwards to take this mighty squadron following my deployment. I'm thrilled to be under your leadership once again. Even though I might have been a naive lieutenant back then, I did learn some lessons, so thank you. To my family and friends in attendance, I'm back in the Pacific Northwest, finally, woohoo! To my parents, your guidance and teachings of the importance of family, values, as a father and husband, also giving me the tools to prepare as a commander, and I thank you. Aaron, Sherry, Lydia, and Bracken, who is not in attendance. As the youngest of the family, you developed my thick skin to be a good maintainer and to handle anything and keep me humble. Isaac and Ada, don't worry, sibling rivalry will get easier with time, but don't worry, being the youngest is always best because you get spoiled. Travis, thanks. Your attendance today means a lot to me, being a wingman for all these years, and I can't wait to get back to the ventures once again, so thanks for being here. To Haddock and Max, you probably heard from way too much from me all the time, but you've kept me grounded and continually, you inspire me, so love you. Max, I'm just glad you got a haircut for this occasion. It used to be a mop, and it took forever to get it cut, but now that I'm back in the Pacific Northwest, it gives Haddock an opportunity to go fishing and go catch that monster tuna that she always looked forward to. So I'm really happy. Lieutenant Colonel Cleety, the maintenance squadron has thrived under your leadership. You've excelled at all lines of efforts, and I hope to excel at your successes with more successes. It is evident you have empowered the airmen, and I know it will be a hard act to follow, but I'm grateful for the outstanding squadron you are handling over and leadership team that you entrust. I wish you and him all the best, and I know that you'll be in the area, but you all will always be part of the maintenance family. Finally, to the men and women of the 62nd Maintenance Squadron, Haddock and I are overwhelmed with joy and honored to be part of the Bigfoot Maintenance family and are ready to serve. As a young officer, I had a short period in Maintenance Squadron, and I've always wanted to go back, so this is a very special time for me, and I'm excited to be a commander for you. Because, in fact, the squadron is filled with talented airmen, NCOs, civilians, senior NCOs, and officers who innovate, are hard-charging, and are powered to accelerate change, and I'm glad to be part of this team. And I'm also excited to get to work. But before I conclude, there's one simple message I want to pass along to the unit. Let's do right on how we lead and take care of each other. Let's do right for the maintenance, and let's do right for the mission. Thanks, everyone, again for attending, and have a wonderful Air Force Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Major Williams. The 62nd Maintenance Squadron will now render their first salute to Major Williams.
Squadron 10 cut. Present arms. Order arms.
The men and women of the Maintenance Squadron would like to present flowers to Ruka Williams to welcome her to the Bigfoot family. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. The men and women of the 62nd Maintenance Squadron are proud to have served with Lieutenant Colonel Khalidi and are excited to welcome Major Williams to the team. Please stand and join us in singing the Air Force song and remain standing for the departure of the official party. Thank you for attending today's ceremony. There will be a reception honoring Major Williams and his family immediately following in the back of the hangar. Have a great afternoon.